Hello, friends, it's Missy and Ciola. Last time, you heard the second chapter of one of the books from the Puppy Place series, Mocha. Do you remember what happened so far? Let's see if we can recall what we have already read. Take a moment now to think about who the most important characters are, what the setting is that they are in, and the most important event that we left off at. Do you remember? Go ahead and tell me. Charles Peterson is traveling with his parents, his sister Lizzie, his brother the Bean, and his dog Buddy. They are visiting Charles' Uncle Stephen, Aunt Abigail, and his cousins, Becky and Stephanie. Charles is visiting his cousin's house right now in the countryside for Thanksgiving, and a stranger just dropped a puppy off at their house. Now they need to find her home. When we finished chapter 2, I was left wondering who the puppy's owners were and how they were going to find them. What were you wondering? Let's see if we can get our questions answered in chapter 3. Well, that's settled then, said Aunt Abigail. We'll have plenty of time to get to know the puppy, but for right now, let's get supper on the table. You all must be starving after your trip. And why don't you bring your things upstairs and get settled? She waved a hand around at everything they'd carried in. You're all in your usual rooms. Becky and Stephanie, come give me a hand in the kitchen. She bustled off, and soon everyone else scattered as well. Charles found himself alone with the puppy. She put up her paws to give him another hug, then sat down and looked at him, whimpering softly. What's the matter, sweetie? Charles asked. The puppy shook herself off, then stretched and yawned her front paws out in front of her, bottom in the air. Charles noticed the way her white-tipped tail curled over her back. She was so cute. She shook herself again and began to pat around, sniffing here and there on the floor. Uh-oh, said Charles. Do you have to... Just then, the puppy began to squat right in the middle of the entryway floor. Charles swooped in and scooped her up. Let's get you outside. He pushed open the front door and stepped out into the dark, cold night. He had no leash, but he had no choice either. This puppy needed to go to the bathroom. He lugged her out onto the front lawn, put her down, and watched her closely. Good girl, he said, as she squatted in the ivy surrounding a big tree. Okay, let's go back inside. But the puppy had other ideas. She wandered further into the yard, away from the circle of light from the house, out into darkness. Puppy, Charles called. Come, puppy. His heart thumped in his chest. What if she ran off? This dog had run away before, into 4 lanes of traffic. Wasn't that enough for one day? Come on, girl, he called into the dark. Finally, he spotted her coming toward him, dragging something red and floppy along the ground. When she came closer into the light, he realized it was a piece of red cloth, the silk handkerchief from the stranger's pocket. He grabbed the puppy before she could get any more ideas about wandering around. Give me that, he said, taking the handkerchief from her mouth. The heavy, smooth fabric felt cold. He shoved it into his sweatshirt pocket and headed back inside, herding the puppy in front of him. We need to get this puppy a collar and a leash, he announced as he walked into the kitchen with the puppy at his heels. And a name. Over dinner, Aunt Abigail's famous chicken and dumplings, the puppy was the main topic of conversation. What breed do you think she is, Lizzie? Asked Uncle Stephen. He knew that Lizzie had practically memorized the dog breeds of the world poster that hung on her bedroom wall. Lizzie shook her head. I've been trying to figure that out. They all turned to take another look at the puppy, who was lying on the bed they'd made from some old towels Aunt Abigail had provided. She slept soundly, with her legs straight out in front of her. Once in a while her feet twitched. She let out a soft snore. "Poor thing," said Aunt Abigail. "Whatever she is, she's all tuckered out. What a day she must have had." "I think she looks like a St. Bernard, only not so big," said Stephanie. Lizzie nodded. "Or maybe a Bernese mountain dog. Same kind of coloring, brown and white. She might have some German Shepherd in her, too. Look at her pointy snout and the way her ears sort of try to stand up. She's definitely a mixed breed, an all-American, a mutt. Mutts are the best." Charles glanced over at Buddy, who lay in another corner of the dining room on his own bed. Buddy and the new puppy had similar coloring, brown and white, and their half-pricked ears were very similar. Buddy's brown was a tan caramel color, while the new puppy's fur was darker, like strong coffee, but they both had a white stripe up the middle of their faces. Besides that, they were completely different. That was the great thing about mutts, Charles thought. Each one was unique, not exactly like any other dog in the world. Nobody knew what mix of breeds Buddy was, but he was the best puppy ever, and they all loved him. "Who cares what she is?" he said, looking at the new puppy. "She's really cute." "So what should we call her?" asked Becky. "How about Pilgrim, since she came at Thanksgiving?" "Or Serendipity for her good luck?" Dad asked. "What would we call her for short, then? Dippity?" asked Mom, laughing. "I vote for something simple like Daisy." "Maybe we should try to figure out her real name," Charles said. "After all, she probably had one. We could call her lots of different names and see if there's one she responds to." "That would take forever," said Lizzie. "What would we do? Go alphabetically? Think about it. Abby, Addie, Aggie. That's just the A's." They argued about it straight through dessert. "Who wants coffee with their pie?" Aunt Abigail asked as she cleared plates. "We just got a new espresso machine. I've been treating myself to a yummy mocha latte every night." "What's that?" Charles asked. "Coffee with foamy milk on top." Stephanie wrinkled her nose. "The foamy milk part is good, but the coffee? Yuck." "Mocha latte," Charles said. "That's it! That's the perfect name for the puppy. She's brown and white, just like coffee and milk. We can call her Mocha for short." Everybody stared at him. "What?" Charles asked. Maybe that had been a silly idea. "You're right. It's absolutely perfect," said Mom, reaching out to give his hand a squeeze. Well, it turns out they haven't even had time to start looking for the puppy's owner yet. But we did get her name, at least the one they are going to use for her, Mocha. I am wondering what her real name is. What would you have named the puppy? Why would you pick that name? I wonder how long it will take before they start to look for her owners. What are you wondering? I hope you enjoyed Chapter 3 today, friends. Tune in next time to find out what happens next.